Hey guys, it's Drabble here, and welcome back to Ace Attorney, where we are about to question Larry Butts. Try and figure out exactly what he was doing during the time of the murder, and yeah, we'll go from there. I know it's been a little bit, but school started up, so hope you guys understand that. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. All right, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall when she bore witness to the murder, sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There is only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. What is with all these locks? Iris? I can't tell you about that yet. Yet. Not until her safety is confirmed. Please tell me you're talking about Pearl, cause for some reason Edgeworth seemed to have forgotten about her. Her? The safety of the acolyte. The acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. Is no one thinking about Pearl? Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Dunham? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. As I thought, no Psylocks. Very well. It is my job to get the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Although there is one thing I'm thinking of, seeing as Phoenix has the demon warding headdress during the time, she could have been possessed. Like, that's the only thing I could come up with. That she herself didn't go, but someone possessing her body did. That's one way of looking at it. Or, someone dressed up as her. Court will now reconvene. Ms. Von Karma, where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something, very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to capture you. Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Laurice Dionam, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Ouch. Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just artistically rendering. Ouch. You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? But look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use a technical term for the color, viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store, now is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work. I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I got nothing to do with this trial, at all. I expect all your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red. Or, to use a technical term, crimson lake. Ouch. Stop your pathetic blabbing and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness, that is your fault. Testify now. What? This is too much for me. I can see how one would say that, Larry. Don't worry. Alright, what I saw. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy? Really? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody. Nobody but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. But yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Well, then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. We can delve into the details at a later time. Alright, let's save this information. Alright, there we go. I saw the lodge looking out the mountains. Whatever is the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? This one single statement is so full of contradictions. For a moment there, I thought I was going to collapse. So, witness, any ideas as to where these contradictions in your testimony lie? Depending on your answer, I may stay my whip. Okay, give me a minute. Well, it was snowing that night, so I couldn't possibly have seen the stars. That rundown shack is hardly a lodge, is it? And even if the stars could be seen, it's not like I was there to look at them, right? See, you can do it if you try. Heh. Ouch. There's only one issue here. What you saw at Dusky Bridge. Walked to the bridge a number of times, but... A number of times? How many? Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes. Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night? You bet. Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you say? It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack, using this blackmail letter. But blackmail? No, that was simply a product of overflowing love. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whiny wuss of a witness. So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness, eh? Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, you really didn't see it? Hey, no need to hit your desk. I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see a snowmobile. Larry, say snowmobile for me, please. Snowmobile. You truly have nothing to hide. Then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest? Shut up. What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me. Seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. I didn't see anyone at the bridge. You didn't meet anyone? That's right, because I've got nothing to do with this. I'm just here to buy some Verodian paint, okay? You saw Phoenix. Now come on, I expect to see those crimson-like faces. Now. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Indeed. Seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this in the end. Don't want this guy to cost us any more time, and he slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. Alrighty then. So at the lodge out in the mountains, I walked to the ridge a number of times. Didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone. Like, I know that he saw Phoenix. Larry Butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry, but having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? Certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. What? You're totally pinning this on me. Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right, me in the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. Doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change. But what do you want me to do then? Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue is all I need from you. Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well. I'll ask you again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder? I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been around 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bed when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went out right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. Okay, that sounds more true. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. Totally burnt out, like almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross their burning remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination. What I saw, part 2. Alright. Where... There we go. So I went to the shack around 9. So it would have been around 10. I'm just going to keep pressing. What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half? Well, if you really must know, I was being excited, I guess. Excited? Dare I even ask? I set the meeting time as 10 p.m., right? But I couldn't wait, and I thought she might come early, too. Well, it appears she didn't come at all in the end. Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they? Shut up, don't go picking my fond memories apart. Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went out to the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash blinded me. This light was, of course, lightning, like kerpow. Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. A bad bada boom. A big bada boom. Or a little like that? That's more like a punch from Miranda. Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge? Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so I looked out the window and Dusky Bridge was on fire. Seeing that, what did you do? What do you think? I was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart. And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge? Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so, I don't know, changed my mind? I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first, Witness. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. Weather report. Snow to approximately 10:50. Lightning struck at 10:45. Okay, I guess these are like close enough approximations to everything. Because I think he's the one who gave the weather data. You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell and then the bridge caught on fire, maybe around 5 minutes. I mean, suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is the small shack you were in from the bridge? Hold on, well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. Guess about a 5-minute walk? And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him a little more? Why didn't you call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with a serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There's a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you did it. Huh? Yeah, okay, a reason. My reason. It wasn't that I didn't try to tell anyone, I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later. You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as Wright? Yeah. I thought I'd better tell someone about this. But then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly had a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct? Yeah, that's pretty much it, more or less. He told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. I went to the shack. I was lying. Maybe I can ask him another question. I'm going to speed right through this. So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge? Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so? Well, yeah, I guess it does. It was really cold. I didn't really want to go out there. If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I would like to hear your reasoning. In which case, please give the testimony to that effect, witness. My reasoning? Okay, reasoning is it? I thought I'd never get another chance to see something so big burning. Why did you want to do that? So you decided to go and see what was happening? That's right, we're talking about a massive suspension bridge burning to high heaven. That's not something you see every day. A real really special. Can we really trust a witness who is unable to pronounce spectacle? Life seems to love hitting this poor witness below the belt. Well, my motto is hit life back as hard as I can. I'll give you a few hits too if you'd like, with my whip. Tell me about the burning bridge yesterday. I'm not sure this is the right answer, but I'm thinking about showing the weather report that says that the weather report in which it says that lightning rang out at 10:45 rather than, I'm not yeah, nope. It does? How do you mean? Forgive me, Your Honor, but you just said it does yourself. Don't try to play mind games with me. It has to be this weather data, right? Snow with occasional lightning strikes from 10 to 11. Snow from 7 to 10:50. Although, if he... Okay, what I want to do... Let me go to the beginning of his testimony. I want to do it before he talks about... Like, the thing is, it should not have stopped snowing. Oh, 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. Maybe I'll... Oops. Set right away. Just 5 minutes. Let's do... No, it would be why didn't you call anyone, I think. Let's see. Doing that. My reason... I arrived at the bridge, and Nick showed up less than a minute later. Let's do this. Claim you arrived at the same time. Yeah, okay, so that's it. Okay, he was saying it took 5 minutes for the bridge to go out. There's still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. Let me look at this statement again. What did you do? Fire of my heart. It was freezing, but it stopped snowing. Was it? I swear it was the why didn't you tell anyone? Like, I've covered pieces of my childhood. Why did you go? Well, yes, it does. I didn't want to go. Why did you change your mind? My reasoning is that I thought I'd never get another chance to see something so big burning. What in the world is going on? Meet me at 10. That's what the letter says. The temple map. Alright. Weather data, lightning struck, around 30 minutes past. Thorough. There's no statement that directly... Like, my problem is there's no statement that I can press. Still some... lying on my bed. There was still some thunder, but it went right away. Yeah, there still should have been thunder. Like, I'm still deciding as to whether I should swap between this statement and the other one. Because he's trying to claim that the... Okay, so in the Phoenix statement, he's trying to claim that it had already gone away, I think. So 5 minutes. So I gotta check this out. Yeah, I can't. How far? 5 minutes. I don't know, like, what to call it. Like, I know the piece of evidence I need. Just don't know where I need to show it. Just don't have time. Oh crap, I did not mean to do that. Better tell something about this. Fire is pretty much out. So, like, I know that last statement, he's definitely lying, so I think I will post the... Oh my gosh, I'm going to... I'm so sorry, guys. I have, like, terrible, apparently, eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination, is that what it is? It's like, instead of tab, I'm pressing Q. Your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure I can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy, you make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. So yeah, the time, dealing with the time in the weather report, definitely. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to the Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. And all that sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred at Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there, in the courtyard. There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me? I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Laurie's Dunim. It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11, in which case it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Francesca von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is no way that Wright would have been at Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m. Which means what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m., but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I said you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes? I feel like I just got brutally woken up by a toilet splashback. Guess I was still sleeping after all. Haha, pinch me. So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright. I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there is a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? Yes, witness. Why didn't you? You were there simply to watch the bridge burn? And therein lies the problem, for even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness deemed an attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. But this is Larry we are talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy? I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes? I may really say it this time. Then say it. Very well, I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? Probably still won't tell us. I am a deonym. I am an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whooped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly to the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. Real? I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch, including the truth from the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I tend to drag the reason out of him. Ha, ha, ha. You'll regret this, Edgy. I don't know what's going on with this man, but we're just gonna keep going. Right, so what did you think I was doing? Sketching. Does he have it like a sketchbook? Sketching the burning bridge? The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What? Came with it? Wanted to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is enough. Just take the ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed to appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave you to it, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? Ask for the sketch. Got a terrible feeling that instant the sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Look at the sketch. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please. Well, even I couldn't imagine it turn out like this. Imagined what? The Larice Dunham's debut would take place here, today, like this. Show it now. Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Larice Dunham. Is that someone getting thrown off the bridge? And if he was at the top of the bridge, no, he drew that at the bottom based on the angle. Ah. Well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. Isn't it? Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames. I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object? Larry? What? The burning bridge is fine, but what is that unfortunate-looking figure? Ah, you spotted that? I thought you might. However much I want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris. I wish she'd taken better care of herself. We'd have to plan for our future, you know. What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please, answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that night that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. Are you high? The girl. She's pretty high up in this picture. I think he might be high. That explains this entire thing and the entirety of this game series. He's been high the entire time. That's the only thing that makes sense. What was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? This witness is your friend, is he not? No. Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expose you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what did you think of my debut? Peace. Get that thing away from me. Now, hurry up and cross-examine him. I think I was doing sketching in front of the bridge. I saw Iris fluttering her white hoof. Present. She wouldn't have had her white hood. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I give you a whole $1 that it's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolish, foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. It seems there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps it was Wright who took flight. What are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why didn't Nick have Iris's hood? What? Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why you, Nick, you dog. I do believe that this unbelievable mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited, and discarded straight into the garbage. Ha. Ha 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 ha. He doesn't look like he was laughing. What is it now, witness? It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today's the day I get to completely stupefy you. You've stupefied me this entire time. Don't worry. What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning ridge, and I, Laurice Dionum, shall prove it. I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in the sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. Oh my gosh. When I reached Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led to me finding the beautiful crystal sphere half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost this crystal sphere that night. Actually, they can. The crystal sphere. This one. Pretty, isn't it? Pretty, but finders keepers. That sphere. Where did you find it? Let me see. Around here somewhere? Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow? That pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward. There's something on it. Oh my, it's blood. What? Blood? You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Laurice Dunham only a few minutes ago? Okay. That is the victim's sphere, so the victim was pushed off of the bridge? That's kind of what it's sounding like. Already gone. Half buried in the snow. I'm sure Iris wearing. No one else could have lost a sphere that night. If I do the picture of Elise showing that, yeah, I think this is what I would have to show. Larry, that night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot? Miss Elise Dionham, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim. I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey, that's my photograph. Give it back. Ouch. A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime. Ah, the crystal sphere. It's gone. Whoa, whoa. What? 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 Just what does this mean? Maybe that's where she, quote unquote, dropped 10 feet. If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris, after all. She was not wearing her hood, and more importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Dunham. A fool alongside another fool, on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, the sketch, what I would prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. You can't do that. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. In this crystal sphere, this is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. Miss Elise Dunham was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. Miss Franziska von Karma, the only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case? That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There is blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggested that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it in there to throw the investigation off the scent, which is the exact same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. Wait, what? You mean I'm the killer? No. All joking aside, just when did this crystal appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless it can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe that this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Dunham left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Well, Larry said there was still snow on top of it, in which there wasn't on the victim. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? I want your final opinion on this disposition of this crystal sphere. I'm going to save it, because I have a feeling. If it is not related to this case, then this witness you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder? I think I can. Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do that what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I urge you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. Let's see. It was found half covered in snow. Well, this half covered in snow bit is the evidence. This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing quite clear. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was still ever so slightly. Snowing. On the other hand, let us look at the crime scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Ah. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Yuppers. Order. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge, and there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. What could that have been? This sphere, there's some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The quote-unquote flying girl would explain the fall from a certain height that we have yet to actually conclusively deduce. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who is the fool, and which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion, if you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body. That would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Dunham's body was found in Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple, unless you have a snowmobile. You mean to suggest someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. Just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to the temple. Tracks. Right, here we go. Present. On that snowy night, there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. Ah. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could have been used to carry a body. Order. This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? Heh. You're too late, Franziska von Karma. But in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim Elise Dunham really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, He would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he was enamored. He drew this, so it was something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy? Thank you. That settles it then? I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. 'Tis just as I thought. Francisca von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There was one reason alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to Wright. But really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have Francie whipping me all. Ouch. Miles Edgeworth, I don't care where you were here to do. This is my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame. This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You are an affront to all the legal system stands for. I demand satisfaction. I am totally okay with this happening. I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, right? Court is now adjourned. Okay, so as unbelievable as Butts' story, it makes more sense. Although that does leave this just leads more towards Bikini being the possible murderer, because she was in fact going from the inner temple up to Hazakura Temple. So she disposes the body, takes a bath to get all of the blood evidence off of her, and then Iris finds the body and tries to remove the sword. And then we couldn't really explain at the location of the then supposed crime scene how she fell, but if she was like on the side of a cliff in that area, she could have easily have fallen there while her body was being taken. So right now I'm leaning towards Bikini being the possible murderer, but we won't know until we investigate some more. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!